Hey, this is Kyle Madson, and I have a sports update. The Kings are back in action tonight. They kick off a 4-game road trip starting in Miami. The Kings take their 3-3 record to visit the Heat, who come into the game at 3-2. Our coverage begins with game night at 3 o'clock. Pregame is at 4 o'clock, and tip-off is set for 4:30 right here on Sports 1140. The Raiders led the Colts 28-21 going into the fourth quarter yesterday, but lost 42-28. Oakland is now 1-6 on the season. The 49ers fell to 1-7 with an 18-15 loss to the Cardinals, where the Niners blew a 12-point fourth quarter lead. The Raiders and Niners will match up on Thursday Night Football this week. The Red Sox beat the Dodgers 5-1 to win the World Series 4-1. It was the Red Sox fourth title in the last 15 years. LA has now gone 30 years without a championship. And in hockey, the Sharks beat the Ducks 4-3 in Anaheim in overtime in Anaheim. In overtime last night. Timo Meier had the game winner. It was his second goal of the game. Those are your top stories, and now it's back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Rise and shine, sleepyhead.
I'm not letting you go to work today.
Wait, what?
Everybody, listen up.
Welcome to The Drive.
Morning.
You're gonna talk.
Get on the phone at 339-1140.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Jump in on our text line at 441140.
Everyone is talking about it. You must know that.
The Drive starts now.
Once again, congratulations to Cameron Champ, who is a champ, much like those Red Sox, but he's a local kid, 916. First PGA Tour victory, good for him. Good for him. We'll try to get him on the show for you. Hey, commercial break guy again's back at it. Commercial break guy always texts, and he is a little, I think there's a little bit of an issue with this guy upstairs, but he always, if you're going to have an issue with the commercial breaks, this isn't the time to do it. We just got done with the 25-minute segment and our shortest break of the day. And now we're about to do another 25-minute segment. Just calm down. We're going to talk Kings in this segment. What did I ask you before the break? Are you in? Is 6 games enough? Not are you in as a Kings fan or you hope they do their best. Are you, especially somebody like me, who thought this was, and perhaps still thinks this is, somewhere around a 25-win team? Have you seen enough in 6 games to change your mind? Or have you not? Are you still backing away from the fence? And if so, how come? They're 3-3, and 4 of the 6 teams they've played, I believe, were playoff teams last year. I do know this. The 3 teams that beat them, which is Utah, Denver, and New Orleans, are a combined 12-4, and they currently hold the 2, 3, and 4 spots in the Western Conference. I am very curious as to the pulse of the fan base, and also if you're not in, when would you be? Do they need to get there first? Do they need to get to 40 wins before you believe? Is it by the All-Star break? If they start doing better, but they still only end up winning 30 or 32 games, let's say, somewhere in that, could it still be a good year for you? Very interested in that. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Sherwin, you're on the drive. Good morning, Sherwin.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good, brother.
Excellent. Well, I got to tell you, you guys already know I'm pretty much a Kings fanboy anyhow, but I will say this. I am really excited about the team, mainly because I see a future. And, I didn't really feel that way after a couple of the preseason games that we just got absolutely embarrassed in, but that's preseason. I'm very excited about getting Bogdanovich back because I think Bielitsa and Bogdanovich on the floor together could be very interesting. I think they'll move the ball better. And, for me, Fox, Bogdanovich, Bielitsa, Bagley, and Willie Cauley-Stein starting lineup sounds really good. I don't know about Buddy Hield. He can score, but, man, he sure is making a lot of mistakes, and maybe that's a different subject. But that's how I feel about it.
No, I appreciate the time. Thank you, Sherwin. 339-1140. 1-800-920-1140. Buddy Hield is an enigma.
I have a thought on that.
Mm-hmm.
I have thoughts.
I have thoughts on that.
Do you think Buddy Hield was given a little bit more of a green light where they know that he needs to be a little bit more of a playmaker for them and not just a catch and shoot guy? But do you think they said, dude, we're fine if you throw the ball away a couple times. We're fine if you don't know where to go with the ball, but just go be a playmaker.
I think,
and maybe he's just developing that skill set.
I hear you saying that, and I think you're right. But I also think that could very easily have been Dave Yeager speaking to the entire team. I could see him saying that to Justin Jackson. I could see him saying that to De'Aaron Fox. I could see him saying that to Willie Cauley-Stein. Hey, guys, we don't want you to turn the ball over, but if you turn the ball over because you're trying to make a play, that's fine. We don't want you to miss shots, but if you miss shots because you're being aggressive, that's great. We want you to expand your confidence. We don't want you to worry about being pulled because you miss a shot. Buddy Hield this year is actually their second leading scorer. He's averaging 17.2 points, just behind De'Aaron Fox, a half point in a couple less minutes. He's also pulling down 5 boards a game. Buddy Hield's ceiling is a very good player, a guy that can get hot and go crazy. Also, Buddy Hield is a sneaky good defender. But Buddy Hield, it seems, every game is prone to 2 or 3 mistakes that are just bonehead. Whether it's inbounds plays that he cannot execute, whether it's a beautiful pass that goes off his hands like he was holding 2 frying pans, like a air ball that goes into the third row, or a shot that goes over the backboard. But I think the overall picture of Buddy Hield is good, and I think he's kind of thriving as a starter. David, you're on the drive. Hello, David.
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for calling.
I agree with the last caller. I think Hield, with his scoring ability and not so much his basketball IQ, would be better off the bench because he can add some life if the Kings are kind of hurting to get some baskets. Because he can run with Fox and all that. And then Bielisa, I think, also with his 3-point scoring, just to add some points off the bench, and then we can keep the faster guys on the floor with Fox and Stein and when Bogdanovich comes back and all that. So
you think Buddy should go back to the bench and lead that second team?
Yeah, I think he can get really good minutes still. I don't have a problem with him playing, but as far as starting and ending the game, I don't think he should be on the floor.
I got you. And what would that look like? That would look like what? Fox? What are they doing right now? Fox, Bogey comes back, Willie. I'd love to keep Bielitsa in there. So the question is, could you put Fox and Bogey in your backcourt, and could you truly have Bielitsa or Bagley playing that 3-4 together?
Yeah, positionless basketball.
So
because it really only matters on defense.
So which do you think? Would you do something? I just wrote Bogey down twice. Would you do something like Fox, that sounds funny. Fox, Bogey, Bagley, Bielitsa, Willie Cauley-Stein.
What if we go in all B? Buddy, Bogey, Bagley, Bielitsa, Barry Giles.
Beats, Bears, Battlestar Galactica.
I think that Bielitsa has to play the 3.
Yeah.
In that scenario. Because he's a guy that can stretch the floor and take a defender with him.
So you try to go Fox and Bogey in the backcourt, Bielitsa at the 3, Bagley at the 4.
Because Bagley has not proven himself enough as an outside shooter that if his primary job is to stretch the floor in that 3 spot, the opposing team's not even going to bother defending him.
So you have two choices when Bogey comes back. You have multiple choices, Kyle, but you probably have two legit choices. You have Fox and Bogey in the backcourt with Bielitsa, Bagley, and Willie Cauley-Stein. Or you go Fox and Hield in the backcourt with Bogey and then either Bielitsa or Bagley off the bench, and then Willie Cauley-Stein. That Bogey, Bagley, Bogey, Bagley, Bogey, Bielitsa. Yeah, that's going to be a thing I get right
It's
all
a law
year.
office.
The law offices of Bogey, Baggy, and Bielitsa. Now we have to come up with a slogan. Hi, Kevin.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to chime in on Buddy. You know, the thing that's interesting about this year is we got so many pieces. We need to see what they can bring to the table. We know that Buddy could shoot, but if you put him back on the bench, we don't know if he can develop these other skills like playing defense and getting the ball to the rack and that dribble game. And so you can't box him in already. We need to see what he's got, and the only way to do that is to let him start and try to create.
Kevin, I think you bring up a great point because at this point, Costa Koufis is hurt, not playing. Zach Randolph isn't playing, may not play all year long. Who knows? Obviously, they're dealing with the vet situation. So the big complaint last year was develop the youth. Okay, now in a vacuum, remember Bielitsa is 30 years old. He's been very good so far this year. For some reason, everyone's all behind Bielitsa, and a lot of people can't stand Shumpert. And granted, Bielitsa's been better. Don't get me wrong. Shumpert's actually younger than Bielitsa, I believe. But the question becomes, who do you want out there? Shouldn't you technically, this is a very interesting point for Kings fans 6 games into the year. Wouldn't you rather have Bielitsa come off the bench and have his minutes suffer at the expense of Bogdanovich and Buddy Hield and the rest of the guys and Bagley and Giles? Because although Bielitsa has been one of our best players so far this year, if you're truly not going to make the playoffs, and I think 98% of Kings fan is still in that camp, well, then judging on what the logic has been for the last couple of years, shouldn't you want less minutes for Bielitsa because he's not part of the future? He's 30 years old. So there's a little bit of a misnomer there with how great Bielitsa's been, but hold on a second. You got a veteran taking up minutes from young guys. And right now that works because Bogdanovich is hurt. But when Bogey comes back, I'm not so sure regardless of unless Bielitsa's scoring 25 a game, I'm not necessarily sure that I want anybody else's minutes but Bielitsa's affected. And not because I have anything against the guy. I think he's great. I love him. I think he's been a tremendous signing, and props to Vlade for doing that. But I don't think I need to see Bielitsa getting 35 minutes, 30 minutes a game when Bogdanovich comes back. I mean, right now he's getting a little over 26. I'd rather have Bagley, Hield, and Bogdanovich, and understand they don't play the same position, but I'd rather have those rotations favor them than Bielitsa. Don't you kind of have to put Bielitsa not necessarily on the end of the bench, but definitely in that second team? If you stick with that logic. From the 916, Harry Giles still needs work. He's a defensive liability. His minutes should be limited. Bielitsa should play. Well, hold on. That's what I'm talking about. Where's your head at, Kings fan? Is it we got to win these games and Bielitsa does the best to help us do it? Or is it Giles needs work, he needs to be developed, that's our future, he needs to be out there. I don't care if we win the games or not. I need to see Giles develop and learn how to play defense in the National Basketball Association. Hey, John.
Hey, Dave. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so there's so many thoughts going around in my head right now, given the last few minutes of the conversation's unfolded. Having said that, so Bielitsa's 30 years old, I believe, right?
Yes.
So now I believe he's on contract for this year and possibly 2 more seasons. And so to your point, I can see how, he might not be part of the long-term plan, but I feel like in 3 years from now, it might not be out of the question for the Kings to be in the playoffs And if Bielitsa's only 33, I mean, that might be old for the NBA, but it's not like super old. He might still be able to contribute at the age of 33, if that makes sense.
Oh, it totally makes sense. And I think there's a lot of ifs that went through there. By the way, Nemanja Bjelica is signed this year at $6.5, next year at 6.8, and then 2021 at $7.1 million. So you got about $20 million and change locked up over the next 3 years. It really, with the way he's playing right now, is an absolute bargain. It's just the philosophies I'm talking about, John, where yeah, he could be a factor if we make the playoffs, if he continues this pace. But at this time, you only have so many minutes to dole out. My question, I'm not convinced yet, John, but my question is, would you rather have Bjelica's minutes when Bogey comes back going to Bogdanovic, Hield, Bagley, Giles? Should Bjelica getting minutes be a priority?
I hear you. Oh, boy. Oh, man, that's a tough one. And yeah, a good thing I'm not on the coaching staff.
No, I agree. I'm sorry, John. No, I agree. It's just one of the many decisions these guys have to make. I know it's a strange place to be right now, and I'm in no way, shape, or form trying to diminish anything the Kings are done, or I don't know why you'd possibly take this negative. Bjelica might be my favorite player so far this year. I love the guy.
The distribution of units. I think the distribution of I'm punting this point.
Hey Kyle, hold on. Let me help you out. Kyle, how do you feel the distribution? Really? How do you feel that is hard?
The distribution of minutes.
Yes. Distribution.
The distribution.
Yep, gotcha.
The distribution of minutes is, like right now it fluctuates, right? Because they're 3-3, and 6 games in, they're in the playoff hunt.
Yep.
So 6 games in. So if Bjelica gives you the best chance to win, you got to play him 34, 35 minutes a night.
So we're talking playoff hunt. So that means we're in a mental space.
Right now, yes, this is a fluid thing.
Sure.
Because right now, people are trying to project whether, down the road in February, March, whether this team's in the playoff hunt or not. We don't know. But for right now, I think you have to play Bjelica because you are mathematically in the playoff chase.
Then what's the cutoff?
I don't have a specific number for you.
But you have to establish one probably.
But you'll know. Like if you get to January, February, and you're 10, 12, 13 games out, and it's very clear that you're not coming back, then I think you start distributing the then I think you start giving out those minutes differently.
There you go. I think it's an interesting conversation because it's a conversation we've had so much over the last few years. I think Kings fans, I don't think it's that they don't mind veterans are playing. I think it's that they have a problem with veterans playing if we're losing.
Right.
But if we're winning, screw it. But then it comes into, well, where do you put your head at? Is it how much of it goes into these guys need to win? We're establishing a culture. We're trying to turn that culture around and attract free agents.
Well,
we don't have a first-round pick.
And Harry Giles could conceivably get more minutes, right? He's playing 11.7 minutes. But how valuable are additional minutes for him if he's just getting destroyed while he's on the court? I'm not sure how valuable it is for him to get additional minutes right now.
I totally agree with you there.
When you look at Marvin Bagley, he's averaging 24 a game. It's not like he's playing 10 minutes a game.
Who, Bagley?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bagley is actually, I had it just in
24.3.
24.3. Right now, the minute distribution goes De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Willie Cauley-Stein, Justin Jackson, and Bjelica. And then Bagley right after that. And I know I can already hear a lot of you through the phone saying, well, then take Justin Jackson's minutes. I think Dave Yeager's looking at Justin Jackson, who, by the way, has been playing some pretty decent defense lately. But I think he's looking at Justin Jackson saying, I think I can get something out of this guy if I just stick with him. He's right there. And you've seen flashes with him. You have. I'm not saying it's going to work, but you have seen flashes. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Dave, I'm heading down. I got a gurney. I'm going to take you down to the hospital. I think you've suffered some type of stroke or something on the air, because if I'm listening correctly, I just heard you say that should we sacrifice wins as an organization to develop hopefully Harry Giles' defense?
No. You're close.
Dave, that's what you said, Dave. I'm worried about you,
Mike, hold on. I'll let you go, but let me be clear. What I said is, do you play veterans right now like Bielitsa, and that may give you a better chance at winning at the expense of Bagley, Giles, and Hield's minutes and developing those youngs? To me, it's a very interesting question. Now, what you tell me specifically, what's your issue with that?
You win, Dave. You win. We actually play the game. I think Herm Edwards said that.
You play
correct?
to win the game.
We play to win the game. Why are we complaining about winning?
Nobody's complaining about winning.
I understand you want to try to develop your young players, but if you have a combination of players who are playing well together, he's on the team for 3 more years. You know what? Yeah, he may be a better player than Harry Giles in 5 years from now. Who knows? But if you have a team that is winning and it's a good combination, Harry's going to get his minutes. He's going to develop. But you play to win.
It's not just Harry. I'm not talking just about Harry. Harry was almost an afterthought. It's Marvin. It's Harry. It's Buddy Hield. It's Bogdanovich. It's that entire rotation, and how those minutes are distributed.
You're going to have, just like probably the Warriors do, you're going to have your 8 or 9 guys that you're going to play in your rotation pretty much through a whole season. You're going to give your younger players probably some more time during the season. They can, because they win all the time. You're going to give the bulk of your team, your younger players, a chance to develop and play the minutes. But if you have a good combination going and you're winning basketball games, I don't think there's not going to be enough minutes for these guys to develop. It's a long season.
What would be your line of demarcation? It's the same thing I asked Kyle. At what point during the season would you say, okay, we need to focus more? If that's the case, if that's how you think, Mike, where do you focus more on the youth and less on the vet minutes?
Well, based on what you're saying, is what I heard was the new guy, and Bielitsa, I guess his name is. And I've watched a few games. I haven't had the chance to see all of them, but I mean, it's going to change a lot when Bogey comes back too. So I mean, you're going to have a working situation as well, and see which players play well and mesh together. But I just don't think there's going to be a problem with minutes or worrying about so much about developing. I just like the style of play. These kids they can put some points on the board. If they ever get some defense, you better watch out. This team could score.
No, I think we're on the same page, and thank you for the call, Mike. I really do. I'm not saying don't win. I love the winning. Keep winning. And I'm not saying bench Bielitsa. I'm asking. I think I'm going to ask questions like this throughout the year to kind of underscore Coach Yeager's doing a great job. His staff's doing a great job, and they will continue to have very difficult questions to answer. A lot of them really good questions.
So I think you just said it. It's a fluid situation that throughout the year, right now, I wouldn't mess with anything. They're 3-3. They're playing well.
Right now, I wouldn't, but that's my point. December 7th-ish, when Bogdanovich comes back, you're going to have to mess with something.
Sure.
And granted, that's a week and a half away. A lot can happen.
And that's a good problem to have.
A lot of these are great problems to have. I mean, seriously, who thought we'd be here? Who thought we'd be having the conversation? Should you keep playing Bielitsa? He's doing so well, so it's tough, but you don't want to mess with winning.
And maybe Bielitsa is playing way over his head right now, and by December 7th, it's like, thank goodness they can get him off the floor.
Hey, Kyle, Harry Giles is overrated because of us.
Yeah. I've always said that this is our fault.
Who were those people that were in here on this show last year screaming about not hyping Giles? Who are those? They look just like us. I swear to God they did. But we'll take a break. I guess we played a soundbite from Garrett Temple or one of the coaches saying he's a good passer, so that overhyped it. When we come back, hey, the Dodgers lost the World Series. We can talk about that. A couple of your calls left over. We'll get to that as well. The drive continues. Sports 1140 KHTK.
This is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Kings are back in action tonight, kicking off a 4-game road trip in Miami. Sacramento enters the game at 3-3. The Heat come in at 3-2. Our coverage begins with game night at 3 o'clock. Pregame is at 4 o'clock, and tip-off is set for 4:30 right here on KHTK. The Raiders led the Colts 28-21 going into the fourth quarter yesterday, but lost 42-28 as Andrew Luck and the Colts ripped off 21 consecutive fourth quarter points. Oakland is now 1-6. The 49ers losing streak is now at 6 games after an 18-15 loss to the Cardinals in Arizona. San Francisco led by 12 in the fourth quarter, but 15 unanswered points by the Cardinals lifted them to a victory. The 49ers are now 1-7. David Price allowed 3 hits and a run across 7 innings, while Clayton Kershaw allowed 4 runs on 3 Red Sox home runs in 7 innings as Boston cruised to their 4th World Series title in the last 15 years. They beat the Dodgers 4-1 in that best-of-7 series. Steve Pearce was the MVP for Boston. He hit .333 with 3 homers and 8 driven in the series. LA has now gone 30 years without a title. And in hockey, the Sharks beat the Ducks 4-3 in overtime down in Anaheim last night. Timo Meier had 2 goals, including the game winner in the extra period. Those are your top stories. And now it's time for the final half hour of the drive right here on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Here we go. The drive continues now.
All right, welcome back. Final half hour. Phone line still going, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140.
What phone lines are those?
Those are the Fire Wings hotlines, Kyle. Psst. Gosh, everyone knows that any guest, any caller on this program is brought to you by Fire Wings, 21 different flavors to choose from. Firewings.com, just wing it. While we're at it, our thanks to Jiffy Lube for sponsoring Ye Old Text Line. Also, being a co-sponsor with the Sac Republic of our video feed. You can watch us on the old video, KHTK.com. If you're on a desktop, just go to the top right of your screen. If you're on a phone or a tablet, middle lower of your screen, just scroll just a little bit. Say some calls, see if we have some time to talk about how much the Dodgers choked last night. Let's go to Russ in a vehicle. Hello, Russ.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
No problem, buddy.
Yeah, I'm a long-time Kings fan since they moved to Sacramento. I just want to make a comment at this time. You're talking about what happens when Bogey comes back and distribution of minutes and developing the players and things like that. I just want to say that, I kind of feel like this year compared to last year, I felt like this year I think should be developing the players, but not at the expense of wins, because I felt like that was last year. Last year was let's develop the players at the expense of wins. So I just wanted to make that comment, and just what do you think about that as far as that approach this year? Because I think I remember the talk before was like, okay, this year there's no excuses. It's all about the wins, things like that. I know we want to still develop the young players, but I just don't want it to see at the expense of wins this year.
You know what? Listen, I completely understand where the fan base sits on this. We're sitting at 3-3. It's better than 98% of anybody thought they'd be at this point. It's way early, but that's what we do. We talk early in hyperbole and blah, blah, blah. That's sports. I get where the fans are. Like dude, I understand. I understand the whole developing the youth thing, but dang it, we're winning right now. Can we just keep winning? Who cares? Who cares if it's Kufus and Randolph and Bielitsa and Yogi Ferrell in the lineup? Who cares? Just keep winning. We never win. We don't have a pick. Just win.
If the Kings make the playoffs, let's say they make the playoffs. If they make the playoffs and get swept in the first round, nobody is going to look back at this year and go, you know what? Marvin Bagley only played 24 minutes a game. Harry Giles only played 12 minutes a game. Nobody's going to care, dude.
Well, that's the internal struggle I have, Kyle, and maybe I'm on an island. I agree. Yes. Let me be clear.
This is that micro-macro thing we talked about.
I'm fine with I'd love for them to make the playoffs. God, that would be amazing. And I don't care if they start my kid and your dad and Matt George. Great, you make the playoffs. That's awesome. But then there's that voice. As you said, 8 seed get knocked out. Okay. So are the lack of if that were to result in a lack of minutes for a Giles, a Bagley, a Bogdanovich, nothing's messing with Fox. Are you slowing that development into a 3, 2, or 1 seed down the road at all? Are you taking away from that by going win now, win now, win now? And are those wins empty? No, they're not empty because the fan base deserves a playoff.
They have enough young players on this team that they would have to contribute. They would have to be contributing for them to make the playoffs. So I think I understand your worry, but I don't think that they're adversely impacting their young guys. If they continue doing what they're doing right now, I don't think they're adversely impacting anybody's growth or development.
I will completely agree with you there. If they keep doing what they're doing now, they can play whoever the hell they want.
That's something that I think we get a little bit caught up in, maybe me and some other people, but is thinking that minutes automatically mean that player is going to get better. I mean, theoretically, in-game minutes help the most. But putting Harry Giles on the floor for 35 minutes a game does not automatically mean he's going to be an all-star next year.
Well, in some cases, it can be detrimental to him.
Sure.
I think we saw some of that with Scal Labissiere. Scal got thrown into the fire at one point, and a lot of fans, myself included, were clamoring for him to get thrown into the fire and got burnt. I don't know if it's confidence or what, but Scal went. Remember, Scal had a couple games last year where he went, whoa, what do we have here? What do we have here? And then he ends up going to the G League. I don't know what the hell is going on with Scal. Part of it's he's out of the rotation. I get it. Hello, Devin.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. You there?
Yeah.
So, I feel like Bogey coming back is the litmus test. It's the microcosm for all this, because you slot him at small forward and all of a sudden we all get excited that we're going to win games. But the truth is that we really shouldn't be winning games unless we're winning games on the backs of our youth, because if we finish this season with a record better than we thought, but we still don't know what we have, then it is a lost season, and it kills me to admit that. I want to see wins, but it's like a weight loss plan, right? You can, fast for a week and lose a bunch of pounds, but we all know that's not sustainable. And really, Bogey's got to go back in the backcourt because guys like Justin Jackson need those minutes. And I hate to say that. I've been a Kings fan since the 80s. I want to see wins, but in that voice, like you said, it tells me that if I don't know what I have this year, then it is a lost year. And, I think that's the hard part about this year.
And Devin explained a lot of what's in my head, too. And it's a great problem to have. These are not things I'm bringing up that people should be like, oh, man. No, these are really good, positive, quote-unquote, problems to have. We have all this talent. We need to find minutes for him. That's a lot better than everyone sucks. or like, oh, we're losing so much. Who do we play? No, it's, oh, my God, we're 500. Do we want to mess it? Please keep your eye on the ball. These are great decisions to have to make. And I think that's going to be a very interesting split in the fan base as we go throughout the season. And again, obviously, if they stay at 500, there's no split. Everyone's saying win. But what happens when if they're 6-10, they're 10-17, they're 17-30, they're 22. You know what I'm saying? And I know we'll get there. We'll get there and we'll figure that out one way or the other. Don't overthink it, as I overthink it. But what Devin said is exactly what's bugging me in my head. How do you draw the line between wanting to win games now, which I do, and wanting to make sure at the end of the year, we should have played that guy more? I don't know.
If the Kings make, let's say something crazy happens and they rip off 15 in a row. Mm-hmm. 15 wins in a row.
Wins in a row. Okay, thank you.
And they are in the playoff hunt in March or April. You're not, I guarantee you, Dave, I promise you're not going to be sitting there fretting over it.
Oh, dude, we're talking extremes, and that's my point.
Right.
Of course I'm not. And we're sitting here verbalizing playoffs and 17, and I know you're exaggerating, 17-game winning streaks. That's not the future. If that future happens, This whole conversation is pointless.
Sure.
Can we both agree the odds are overwhelming that neither of those pretend futures are going to happen?
Yes.
And that's where I'm not. We got to break. But I'm going to tell you something. I am much more, and I'm going to need everybody to listen right now, just in case this Kings team does well this year. I need everybody to pay attention.
You want me to go get everybody?
You just tell everybody to come back from the bathroom. If the Kings continue to do as well as they're doing right now, which, yes, everybody, a 500 team is really, really well for this squad. I'm going to be a very on my back foot host all year because I don't remember what it's like to talk about this team in this fashion over an extended period of time. I'm going to have issues with that, and we're all going to need – there are some people that are going to be like, playoffs, baby, wins! And there's some people that are going to be like, no, I don't know. They're going to probably start losing again.
Okay, Eeyore.
That's exactly the voice, thank you. I'm going to be somewhere in the middle, and I'm going to alternate from up and down. I'm going to be extremely manic, more manic-y than usual. And we're all just going to have to pitch in and help out, damn it.
Well, it is a Manic Monday, so.
Wish it were Sunday. We'll take a break. What's on tap? We're doing Nostradamus tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, what's on tap? We'll get to your calls if they're there. Dodgers sucking and all kinds of fun stuff on the drive. Sports 1140 KHTK. What's on tap time? I want to remind you all guests, including Matt Barrows, tomorrow at 8:05, brought to you by Fire Wings. 21 different flavors to choose from. Firewings.com. Just win it.
Hey, and we leaned on callers there in that third hour. And I gotta say they brought it.
I will say this, man. If this damn team can just be halfway decent for once, and God knows how long, this city, the sports talk that goes with it, our jobs, the tenor of the shows, the enjoyability of the shows.
It's so much easier. I root so hard for the Kings to win because this show is so much more fun after they do.
Yeah. I know. I believe you. It's just Kings fan is very similar to A's fan, Kyle. Because there's a little voice in me that's like, shut up, Warrior fan. I don't need you condescending. I root for you to win.
It's not that at all.
I know it's not. I know it's not because I'm also Giants fan.
Right.
And I say all the time, like, I would love to see the A's, if I can't win it, then win it. And then A's fan goes, shut up, Giant fan. We don't need you condescending. Get out of here. It's the same thing. It's the chip on your shoulder that you get for being beaten around nonstop with a heavy stick by national media and everyone else. And then somebody who's doing well.
Hey. I'm not one of them.
I know. One of my good friends they're all from the Bay Area. Huge Warrior fans and like people that have Andres Biedron's jerseys,
of course.
And I happened to be over there for the Kings. I was going over there to their house, hanging out. Kings game was coming on later. They were watching the Warriors and I think it was the Knicks. And it was so hard for me watching them as Durant dropped 25 points, I think, in the fourth. They were down. The Warriors were losing the game with 7 minutes and 30 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and they won by 28 on the road. I'm going to repeat that. They were losing the game with 7.5 left in the fourth on the road, and they won by 28 because Kevin, that snake Durant, scored 25 in the fourth, and I'm watching it with these two. And they're being Warrior fans. They're bringing out, and then they're having like their post-game conversation. I'm just sitting there kind of looking at my phone, getting ready and I'm listening to things like, man, really thought we were done for there. Gosh, it's so great to see that. That's amazing. And then finally I'm like, come on, dude. You've basically won like 4 titles in a row. Like the one with LeBron. You got Durant. You beat everybody. You're going to win again. Just shut up.
That's why I don't focus so much on games. And like, if there's like cool individual stuff, but it's really hard to like boast about regular season stuff when the second best player in the league joined your 73 win team.
Right.
It's kind of like, oh.
It is prime.
Okay.
In the middle,
like
middle to beginning
like
of
peak
his prime. Right. Anyways, hey, what's on tap?
No.
I told you, this should be meltdown. Honestly, if this team is anything close to decent this year, I'm probably going to end up in a straitjacket by the end of the year. I won't know how to handle it. And God forbid if this team, Kyle, if you and I are still working together, which I'm sure we will not be, but if we are, the day. By the way, it's Kyle and Carmichael today on Facebook. Today's Kyle.
Oh, yeah, it's our friend-iversary.
Yeah, it's our friend-iversary on Facebook. That was
1 year.
Yeah,
we made it.
It's been an amazing year.
Proud of us, Don.
If for some reason this team were to compete for a title and we were still doing this, I really do think I would actually need to get a counselor. Like, I would need to actually see somebody professionally because I don't know what my brain would do. It would not work properly at all. It would be ridiculous. We have breaking news. Let's go to the Kyle Madson sports desk. He is gesticulating wildly. Here's the stinger. Kyle Madson.
From ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Browns have fired Hugh Jackson.
Yo!
Per source.
The streak continues.
It continues.
Second Steelers game of the year. Does it say who's taking over?
It does not.
Please be Todd Haley.
I hope it's Todd Haley.
Please be Todd Haley.
There's also another thing that we kind of have not glossed over. We just haven't talked about it.
Yeah.
The NHL has partnered with MGM.
Saw that.
As their official gambling partner. So MGM will get access to all the advanced analytics, and they'll be able to settle the line.
Help me out with this. I saw Ravel tweet this, Darren Ravel, and he's like, the NHL becomes the first sports league to officially partner with a sportsbook. What am I missing? Didn't the NBA just partner with somebody a couple months ago? And they got access to all their analytics and all that. What am I getting confused on?
I don't know. I have not researched that.
Because I remember the whole. So Adam Silver did a big speech about it, and it was like 25 million or 30 million. I know I'm half crazy, but I swear that's in my brain that the NBA just did a similar partnership.
NBA MGM Resorts International becomes the official gaming partner of NBA.
And they get access to all their, yeah. And so why, I don't understand. Why is this being, what is different?
Let's see what Ravel said.
Yeah, why is this being put out as like different from?
Follows NBA and sponsorship category with same sponsor.
Didn't Ravel tweet out, though, that this was they become the first sports league to do this? I swear to God I saw that.
Maybe he said something wrong.
I mean, not that it really matters. Okay.
Sources say putting betting kiosks inside NHL arenas is not off the table.
Oh, not off the table.
But arena would have to have betting license, issue sports books, want to push app downloads in legal states in the early going, and kiosks would fight against that.
Hold on a second here.
This is going to be amazing, man.
Dude, he deleted the tweet. He deleted the tweet. Suck it, Ravel. All right. Is that it? You were gesticulating because of the breaking news, not because we had to go.
Right.
I gotcha. Well, since we have just a little bit of time left, everybody, let me see. What do I want to play for you guys? I know I've got some sound in here somewhere.
I know I've got a giveaway. I've got a pair of tickets to see Jimmy Buffett and the Coral Reef Band at the Golden One Center on March 16th. Get more info at khtk.com. All KHTK giveaways are powered by RosevilleAutomall.com. Let's do the fourth caller.
Fourth caller?
Jimmy
caller.
Buff Ford.
Hey, let's do this.
Fourth call.
From the top on down, here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series. 5-1 the final tonight. And the best team in baseball wins it all in 2018.
This just in, Dodgers lost.
Did they really?
Yeah, they lost in the World Series again.
I didn't see you say anything about it on social media, so I wasn't sure if you'd seen that or not.
We'll end with this text from the 916.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Why has being a fair weather fan become acceptable? You're saying you can't wait for the energy when the team gets good and wins. Why can't people be pumped now? Have you been to any home games this year? I've been to them all. What would you call it? 60% capacity, 65? It's pathetic. Then when they win and sell out, I'm supposed to think these fans are so diehard and passionate. Well, Slappy.
Oh, snap.
First, I've been to the home games, and I've seen, and yeah, you know what? There's a lot more empty seats this year than there have been before. Well, I don't know. Maybe years of fans selling out the freaking arena and paying what they pay for tickets. I forgive them. I completely forgive them when they have a longer playoff drought than anyone in sports. If you think that selling off their tickets or not going to every game makes them less diehard and passionate, then you're either new here, walk around with earplugs and a blindfold, or you're just stupid. There are a lot of things you can call Kings fans. A lot of things you can call Kings fans. Not diehard, bandwagon, get out of here. That's the type of hot take stuff that pisses me off. He should go get a show. For Kyle Madson, for Eunice, for me, we'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. Jim Rome is next. Sports 1140 KHTK. Bye-bye now.